Hi, this is Rodney from Atlanta, Georgia, and today I'm going to share my opinions with you about New Millennium Beginner Spanish. But before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit about my history and my history with Patrick. I've been learning Spanish for well over 12 years now, and I'm a regular traveler to Spanish-speaking countries, blogger. I blog about the Spanish that I learned throughout my travels and the people that I speak with. I also blog about helping people learn Spanish. As a matter of fact, I've got a Facebook group dedicated to helping other people learn Spanish as well. If you're interested in that and would like to check it out, the Facebook group is called Estudiantes del Español .com, of course. And one of my blogs is helpingyoulearnspanish.com. As for Patrick, I've actually known him for quite a while now. We initially met because of his his very first Learning Spanish product, Learning Spanish Like Crazy, Level 1. I actually bought the product and loved it so much that I became a very active member of the product forum. So much so, in fact, that he made me a moderator. But at that time, we only communicated sporadically via email and chat. And if you're curious, that was all volunteer work. I don't work for Patrick, and I doubt that I ever will. But anyway, fast forward 5 years later, and we actually ended up meeting in Medellin, Colombia. And I can honestly say that Patrick is a great guy, and he's very passionate about learning Spanish and helping other people learn Spanish. So, also, just to share a little bit more with you about the products Patrick produces. I seriously doubt that my Spanish would be what it is today without the family of learning Spanish products that Patrick produces. I regularly travel to Spanish-speaking countries and immerse myself from anywhere from a few days to a few weeks at a time, rarely speaking any English. And if it weren't for Patrick and his products, I seriously doubt that I'd be able to do that today. But anyway, let me get on with my review of New Millennium Beginner Spanish. I think it's a great product, and to my knowledge, it's the first of its kind. Even though, like I said, I've been learning and speaking Spanish for over 12 years, prior to New Millennium Beginner Spanish, I still hadn't learned vocabulary to be able to talk about things like being vegetarian or organic foods. Those topics actually seem to come up in conversation on somewhat of a regular basis, and it was actually difficult for me to get my message across simply because, like I said, I just didn't have the vocabulary. And every so often that would become an issue because we'd have to change the topic of conversation because I wasn't able to express myself clearly. So, as you can imagine, that was a point of frustration for me. It's really disappointing to be able to be fluent in so many areas of Spanish, but then not be able to talk about something so common as organic foods. I also socialize with a lot of Spanish speakers here in the U.S. and abroad, so I can tell you for a fact you'll need a lot of the Spanish, the social media related Spanish, New Millennium Beginner Spanish addresses. I also found the lessons on Uber extremely useful. Whenever I travel, I try to take Uber because if any of you, or for those of you who have traveled in Spanish-speaking countries, I'm sure you know it's fairly common for taxi drivers to take advantage of us poor gringos by overcharging us. So the the Uber vocabulary in there is very, very useful for me. But overall, New Millennium Beginner Spanish has a lot of useful practical and everyday vocabulary that you'll need. The audio quality is great, as is the case with all of Patrick's products. It uses the same listen and repeat method as his other products, and if you don't know, the listen and repeat method of learning Spanish has been proven to greatly increase your retention levels. Honestly, I have to admit, when Patrick first released New Millennium Beginner Spanish, I was thinking, I've been speaking Spanish for 12 years. What in the world could it possibly have to teach me? And it turns out, taught me quite a bit. So I'm glad I picked up a copy. And in all honesty, I think if you're serious about learning Spanish and achieving any level of fluency, whether it be conversational level or if you're looking for native level fluency, then I think you should definitely have a copy of New Millennium Beginner Spanish. And that's about it. I hope someone finds my long-winded review helpful, and I wish you good luck with your studies. Ciao.